Good morning, good morning.
What's good? What's good?
Holla, holla, holla.
What is good? What is good, everybody? Happy fucking Friday, guys. I hope you're all having a beautiful week, crushing your fucking goals and getting closer to your dreams. We're going to be doing a little podcast style. As you guys know, we're running up this podcast now. Get the fuck out of your comfort zone is the name. Make sure you guys keep tuning in. We'll be dropping value every single week. So make sure you guys get your asses out here. But let's start with Ross today because we got Jordan on the spotlight. So Rossi boy, how you doing today, my brother?
I'm doing excellent. And when we do our intro, if you got kids in the room, you might want to mute it or you might want to put the volume down a little bit because we from Dirty Jersey, and Joey and I, our F bombs are it's just a natural way of how we communicate. It's not to be offensive. It's just how we roll. But with that being said, it is a beautiful Friday here. I'm in downtown Phoenix, not seeing a speck of snow. And this is why I moved across the country. So it's days like these where the gratitude levels are 10 out of 10. How you boys doing?
Phenomenal.
Blessed. It's crazy. It's February 6th. I'm in Salt Lake City. There should be 3 feet of snow on the ground. However, I also don't see a single speck of snow, and it is set to reach 61 degrees this day. That's not right, but we're grateful for it because honestly, the snow can eat shit anyways. Nobody likes it except Joey because he thinks he can snowboard, and so that's why he likes the snow. But
We're pretty
Yeah,
good.
until he tears an ACL.
Or
No, not ACL, just fucking rips my shoulder out of the socket. But
Or that.
Wouldn't be the first time.
That's how it goes. Welcome to your 30s, brother.
For real.
We're getting old.
How goes things in Medellin, Papa?
Things are amazing out here, bro. Just been fucking grinding. We're going to get a car after this episode. So I'm gonna go look at some cars, lock one in finally. The process here to get a car is a little ridiculous. I don't think we'll walk off the lot with it today because you have to do a credit check, which could take 2 days, maybe 5, maybe 10, knowing this fucking country. So we'll be getting that done, and then from there, we'll be back at it. Got the community call today at 5, so gotta get back for that.
Let's go.
Beautiful. What kind of vehicle you got? 1993 Toyota Tercel, or what are we working with?
Now we're gonna get a 1845 Toyota Prado if they even existed back then.
Oh, nice.
1845 is crazy.
That is what we
Horse
will be
carriage.
Yeah.
Horse and carriage, literally. So today, guys, we are going to be going deep into the life of the nerdy guy right here, Jordan Holt. So we decided for the next 3 podcast episodes, I feel like you guys know us, but you don't know us. So the goal of this episode today is going to be learn more about Jordan, his backstory, his trauma, just go as deep as we physically can into everything and see what made the wealthy nerd, I don't know what the fuck IRL is, but IRL, the real wealthy nerd. So without further ado, Jordan, tell us about yourself. Let's hear your story a little bit. So if you want to start from the day you were born and bring it from there, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Fuck, man. All right. Let's do it. We'll start from ground zero. Born out here in Salt Lake County, Utah, back in April of 1992. Shout out my 90s babies. Born in Utah, never left Utah. Really, I've just kind of like grown up in a 50-mile radius of the hospital I was born at, as is common for most people out here in this region. But yeah, man, born out there, 92. Born to mama. She's great. And just mama, no papa, not present at the hospital, not present for never. And early childhood, grew up, lived with mom and family. Kind of depends on the years that we're talking about, but mainly co-raised by my grandmother and 4 years later, mom has my little brother. And really, it was kind of just Jordan, little brother, mom, and grandma. Growing up, I've lived in Utah, born and raised here, was raised extremely religiously in the LDS religion. Um, I mean, we could get into all that. I'm sure we will at some point, but we'll just do a quick timeline here, quick overview. Very religious family, very big family. Love them all, love everybody, but didn't love the upbringing in terms of just the religion. And so, I don't know, 12, 13 years of age, found that didn't align with all of that, caused a lot of friction with family as a young teenager. And as I grew up, I kind of got more distance between that part of my life and started going out into the world and exploring everything else. What the hell else is out there? Who else can Jordan be? And yeah, I don't know. Just never fit in with the religion all through school. Growing up as a kid, never really fit in there either. Hated school. Was really good at it. Fucking didn't fail many tests. Just couldn't stand being in the classroom. Couldn't stand being taught by teachers. Always been a bit of an outcast. Not victim shit here, just is what it is. But as you can imagine, in Salt Lake City, Utah, I'm usually the only man or kid that looks like this with this skin tone in the classrooms, in the Sunday school rooms, in the church house, in the school. And it didn't fit in with the school. I didn't fit in with the people. I didn't fit in with the religion. I was the fatherless kid, right? So it's kind of an outcast story, you know what I mean? My upbringing, and then got into high school. I was an athlete forever, so it wasn't just religion. We also played a lot of sports. I played basketball growing up, baseball growing up. I always tell people if I was 6 inches taller, we'd be in the NBA right now. You know what I mean? Holla at me. No, but seriously, just
Every inch matters, right?
I'm saying, man, I got the short end of the stick in the height regard, but we almost made it to 6 feet. Maybe one day we'll grow that extra inch and we'll call it 6 foot. But
Jordan's been trying to grow that extra inch his whole life.
been trying, man. Really been trying. We wear platform shoes sometimes just so I can say I'm 6 feet in certain rooms. But yeah, we never quite made it there. But a lot of religion, a lot of sports. Didn't love school. Hit high school. Played a lot of baseball in high school. Wasn't fast enough to play high school basketball. So the ninth grade coach said, "Best point guard on the court. You're too slow, bud." And so played baseball up until like late junior year, and then had a buddy introduce me to the friendly plant known as cannabis. Met my friend Mary Jane at the age of 17, and life took a turn at that point. Not necessarily negative or worse, but negative or worse. That's not what I meant. Negative or positive. But introduced to cannabis, smoked every day from that day until really about 2 years ago, and been grappling with that over the past 12 months. And then kind of, I don't know, man, fell in love with a girl and graduated high school after some theatrics and some fireworks senior year. And then,
What were the theatrics and the fireworks?
well, it's a good story. I'm not a fighter, right? I was raised by a woman who helped me understand that most situations can be resolved through communication with my words, right? My mom never told me go fight your bullies. Love her for it, actually. It helped me develop strong conflict resolution skills verbally, so I don't really need to fight or get violent or whatever. But it's crazy. Is there was one kid. It was a lot of shit. He tried to fight me a lot of times. One day, I just decided let's fight, and then that fight went in my favor during the scuffle, but then not in my favor post scuffle, and got into a fair bit of trouble. I actually got banned for life from my high school grounds. And so I didn't get to walk with my graduating class. Who gives a shit? Not me. My mom probably did, though. So sorry, Mom. Love you. But I didn't get to walk with the graduating class, but still graduated high school because you got to do that. It's important for society. I need jobs, so I need to have that, whatever. And so graduated high school. I fell in love with this girl. It's my high school sweetheart. Still my wife to this day. Love her very much. But an extremely unexpected occurrence happened, and we got pregnant. Well, she got pregnant. And at age 19, I became a father. And that was probably the most pivotal point in my life, especially as an adult, right? It was crazy because I never had a dad. I never had a father. I know shit about being a father. I didn't have the playbook. I never watched anybody do it. I had some uncles that I grew up pretty close to. Mormon families are a pretty close unit, but it's just not the same, you know. So I did have some semblance of an example, but brother, I had my first daughter, and I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I didn't know what the fuck to do, but everybody expected me to know what to do. And as you can imagine, as a 19-year-old kid, as I was at that time, that's a lot, man. It was heavy. And so it took me a few years to really digest that and get myself into a place where I could be the present father that I am today. It was a really scary time in my life. I know there was a lot of expectations I wasn't living up to. That translated into me escaping a lot and partying a lot. Um, but the positive that came from that experience is at age 19, and it wasn't even like the first time I laid eyes on my eldest. It was, I will never forget the phone call, right? I was at my mom's house and I got a call from my wife, then girlfriend. And she's like, I have to tell you something. I was like, what's up? For some reason, I just knew. She's like, well, took a pregnancy test and I'm pregnant and it's yours. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, okay, hung up the phone, told mom, expected to get yelled at. She just hugged me, said, it's all going to be good. I'm here for you. We got this shit. Shout out to moms. Um, but in that moment, I knew I could not live life like everybody else. I couldn't do what I watched my mom do. Grateful for what she did because she always held it down for my brother and I, as well as my grandmother. But she just worked a 9 to 5. She worked for American Express for 30 years. And I took up a lot of her time. We didn't get to connect as much as we wanted to, probably from the perspective of my brother and I as kids. She was busy a lot. Bills were always paid. We always had a roof over our head. We always had food on our table and clothes to wear to school. So like we had everything we needed. We didn't often have everything we wanted. And the moment I heard that I was about to be a father, I knew I had to do something different for my kids. In that moment, on that phone call, that is when my entrepreneurial journey started. I also didn't know anything about building businesses, starting businesses, being an entrepreneur, but I just knew that I had to do something different. So from that point on, leads me into, we'll call it the decade of my 20s. Wild journey. A lot of different businesses were attempted. At one point, I was running a small music studio in Salt Lake City, living in a warehouse, running the studio out of my bedroom. Fun times, a lot of partying, but I loved making music. Was never really great at it, but it was fun. I met a lot of cool people, well, during that time in my life anyways. But that evolved into me starting a hip hop group, and it was fun. I kind of managed them, got them on stages. We did shows, and that translated into me getting into the club scene and the nightlife scene in Salt Lake City. Once I became 21, I actually landed a job as a manager at a nightclub, and that translated into a couple of years of me kind of managing nightclubs, and that translated into me throwing events and this type of stuff. And then randomly, just one of the people that I was working with at the warehouse, he was actually the owner of the warehouse. He was a videographer, but then we all got into creating clothes for an event company out here in Salt Lake. And I decided I really enjoyed that. I thought that was cool. I learned how to actually screen print T-shirts on a 4-way screen press. And so we would sit in this sweaty building, screen printing all of the apparel, and then we would go, and I became the manager of the the apparel line for the event company at their shows. Quit doing that because they were like, oh, well, here's $500, and I made them like $6,500 in one night. They cooked me a whole crumb, and I was like, nah, you guys are crazy. That's wild. Not only am I making all your clothes, I'm running the sales team, selling all your clothes at your event. I'm running your booth. I was like, I'm out. Fuck that. No thanks. Appreciate the experience, however. And then I went on to build my own clothing brand. And I've been on that journey twice. I had a brand called Astro. I had a brand called Lunar. Realistically and humbly, I do think those brands would have gone somewhere. However, at that time in my life, I was partying heavily. And being the people person that I am, I would show up to the party with a trunk full of apparel. And that translated into free parties for Jordan. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you want me to buy that? Well, I want to do that. How about take this T-shirt instead? And like, that's kind of, that
Free
was
what for Jordan?
Huh?
Free what for Jordan?
Free drugs and alcohol.
Oh, free drugs. Okay.
Yeah. Free substance, free party extracurriculars. And I would just trade my clothes for the party. And it was fun. It was a fun time in life. But obviously, as you can imagine, that financially ran those businesses into the ground. But listen, man, I learned a lot through all of that. I had a lot of fun. I developed some skills as kind of a designer. It really got me into my creativity. I mean, my whole decade of 20s was just me being a full-fledged creative visionary. And it was fun, and I learned a lot, and I was able to bring a lot of that into what I'm doing now. And so I guess what also happened in my 20s is a lot of mental health bullshit, right? Being a young father who didn't know what the hell a young father was supposed to do led to a lot of toxicity in my relationship at that time. And I found myself in the psych ward of a hospital at 3 points in my 20s. And I ended up with a mental health diagnosis of severe recurring bipolar disorder, severe recurring depression, severe recurring anxiety, and severe insomnia on the back half of my 20s. I think around 27, 28, it was like my last stint in the hospital. And I was like, listen, we ain't doing this anymore. So I got on medication, right? They told me, like, brother, you got these conditions. You need to take these pills. And so I said, yes, sir, Mr. Doctor, sir. Realistically, I mean, listen, at a couple points through all of this turmoil in my 20s, admittedly, I was a little bit suicidal at times. I didn't want to fucking be here. I didn't fucking have the answers. I didn't know how to get the answers. And there were certain times I was like, brother, it'd be easier to just not be anymore. So partially for myself, I decided to get on these meds to get myself out of that mentality. And I did, and it worked. But also I knew that I was causing a lot of pain and turmoil for the people that I loved around me, who cared about me, watching me go through all of this. That being my wife and my mom and my grandma and my brother, etc., and probably my daughter at certain points. So got on medication, and it did pull me out of all the bullshit. And I was on meds from like age 27 until age 33, until last year, at the end of last year, when this crazy bald guy with a beard told me, brother, get your ass out to Colombia. And I flew out there, and I was introduced to a whole new idea of medication and health and mental well-being. And we could get into that as well. But I got off all the meds. I haven't taken a single medication for, I don't know, since like September. And I've never felt better. I think the diagnoses were incorrect. I think I was just a young man going through a lot of bullshit, and I didn't have the emotional capacity to deal with all of it. So I reacted poorly. But as an entrepreneur, for 2019, I spent a whole year trying to learn how to trade stocks. Learned a lot. It was fun. Didn't ever make any money because that shit's hard. Shout out to anybody in the markets who is consistently making money. My hats are off to you. We'll get back to it at some point because I really enjoy it, but we just need the cash reserves. That led me to wholesaling real estate. I was camping with my family and my wife's family, and around the campfire, my father-in-law one day he just suggested, he's like, have you ever heard of wholesaling real estate? I was like, no, sir. What's that? I mean, I've always thought it would be cool to be in real estate, but I was a broke kid. I couldn't afford that, right? he told me about what real estate wholesaling is, and I was like, no shot, dude, you're tripping. Like, I mean, I know you're a smart, wealthy man. There's no way that's real. So then I went and bought some books, and I read a couple of books on wholesaling, and then I got into some communities on Facebook, met some people, got some direction, closed my first deal, proof of concept acquired, and we never looked back. 5.5 years later, here we are. And yeah, there we go. Boom. 22-minute brief overview of the life of Jordan Hole.
So we're going to get deep now.
Let's go.
Why don't we start with this? Thank you.
Thank you for sharing 100%.
You're welcome. Thank you for listening.
That's a lot. That's a lot. You can kind of see, obviously life is kind of like a EKG, all the zigzags, right? Ups and downs in the middle. So hearing that story out, I can see why all that shaped who you are today.
Yeah.
Like big time. Because when you like things like that, that's the more troubling your past is, the better and bigger of a man you will be in the future. And that goes for now, and that goes for 20 years from now, right? All the struggles that you're facing with right now, the same thing's going to repeat, just in a greater and more significant way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I got you. And thank you for that appreciation. Yeah. It's nice to be seen once in a while. I think we all need it. But yeah, no, truly, I think I agree. The more troubled the past is, as long as you learn the lessons that life is trying to teach you through all of that, I do think you can become stronger for it, and then go ahead and share that light and help people who are also experiencing those same struggles. That is the goal.
100%. 100%. They say the depth of your struggle will determine the height of your success. So obviously, from growing up way back then, no father figure in your life, there were things that you had to adapt. There's things I'm sure your mom had to adapt to. Bringing it into the future with all the Mormonism and everything you went through with that, being the only black kid in an all-white area, that can't be fucking easy. There were points in my life where I was one of the only white kids in an all-black area, so I get it. And I fully understand what you went through with that in a couple points of my life. And then also, just obviously, I mean, I think, let me ask you this, Jordan. What do you think was the biggest, obviously you said having your first kid was one of the biggest turning points, right? Or one of the biggest shifts in your life. Do you think there were any other points along that way that were a huge turning point in your life? Or maybe what, other than having the kid, what happened that kind of elevated you or kind of made you have to turn things around in a big way?
Man, that's a good question. I really don't think any of that. I mean, it's probably post first kid, right? That's when the elevation and the growth really started happening after I got through a lot of the bullshit. I would say attempting entrepreneurship in the face of every single person that I love telling me, not that you suck and you're an idiot, but like, go get a real fucking job, dude. You know, stop, like, give it up, man. It's not working. You can't do it. You can't hack it. You don't have the mentality for it. You don't have the work ethic. And I spent a lot of years powering forward in the face of all of that. And I mean, listen, the people that I love deeply. So that was hard. And I think that was another pivotal thing for me, was just remaining on this path and staying consistent, even when everybody around me was doubting me. A lot of failed businesses, a lot of failed ventures. And every time there was a failure, you know, it's like people were loud about it. I was told about it every single time. Like, yeah, you're a failure, so go get a job. And it's like, dude, I can't. I won't, actually. I'm not an employee. It's not how I was made by God. I'm not made like that. I'm not better or worse than anybody. I'm just different in that way. And so I built an incredible base of resilience. And I donned this armor about me. I don't give a fuck at this point who doubts me or what the doubts are. Doesn't matter. So failing for almost a whole decade after the pivotal point of becoming a father was, I mean, it's like a whole decade worth of pivotal moments of failures and continuing to power through and move forward anyways. And then I started my real estate journey. And that was probably the last most pivotal point for me as a man, as a provider, as a father, as an entrepreneur, because then I started to click and things started to work. Then checks started to hit the bank account. Then people were still doubting. I mean, people are still doubting today, to be truthful. But then I started to feel more confident. And it's like at the whole time in my 20s, I was like, are they right? Might they be onto something? Might I be insane? Might I actually be crazy to think that I could do all of this? And then I found wholesaling and I started earning money and I started actually financially contributing to my family. And then it was like there was a small voice in my head that said, nah, bro, like everything you've been feeling, yeah, you're justified in that. And that voice just got louder and louder and louder as I began to become more confident and more successful. And then I met some fucking people along my wholesaling journey, right? I got burned a few times along this path. We don't need to get into all of that specifics, but there's some places I went, some people I met. I deployed some capital with some people, and I lost it all, right? I spent about $15,000 to join a community and a service, and then that community was shut down 3 months after I deployed that money, and I ain't have it to deploy. And through that, I lost all of it. But then I met Joseph Dillow, right? And it was worth it, every single penny, because I didn't learn anything from that community. I didn't get anywhere with those services, but I did meet somebody who changed the entire momentum of my fucking life, my entire trajectory. And I'm gonna get emotional on this episode, just so y'all know.
Oh, we're gonna bring it out of you. That's the point of going deep today.
Yeah, but that was the last pivotal point for me that set me on the new trajectory that I'm on, that I know is the final trajectory that I'm gonna get where I've been trying to go since I was 19 and I got that phone call.
Got you. Who would you say along that trajectory with the doubt, which one would you say hurt the most? And then how did you deal with that?
Three people come to mind instantly. The first being mom. And mom is fully on board and fully supportive now, but it wasn't always like that. And you can't blame her for it because she's my mom and she wants to see the best for me. But then I brought a kid into the world, so she also wants to see the best for that child. That was the first and that was the hardest. The second would be my wife. Through my 20s, we were tumultuous, we were toxic, and you also can't blame her because she was the mother of that child that I brought into the world. And she provided financially for that kid for the majority of realistically my adult life. We're getting on to the tail end of that and that's changing. But I mean, that was the woman I love. And it sucked when there was doubt there. I wanted her just to believe I was going to succeed no matter what. But I understand her perspective and I get why it was hard to get there because I wasn't the person I needed to be to do all the things I was saying I was going to do yet. I hadn't grown enough in all the ways. So can't blame her. And then crazy enough, man, the third and final person was my father-in-law, her stepfather. It's just somebody I looked up to as a businessman, as a man, as a father. Until very recently, that opinion mattered a lot to me, and I didn't even realize that it did. But yeah, those would be the three people. Those are the doubts that probably spoke the loudest in my mind and were the hardest voices for me to overcome, for sure.
Oh, yeah. And then how would you say, I mean, it sounds like for your wife and your mom, you understood it, right? Did you understand it in that moment when the doubt came? or did it was that kind of how you dealt with it? Like you processed it by understanding why they were doubting you in those moments?
Brother, I don't think I understood it until maybe the last 6 to 12 months, if I'm being totally honest with you. It took me a long time to understand it, and that's a crazy statement because I'm not somebody who has a hard time understanding much. That's a completely humble statement. That doesn't mean I know everything. It just means when I hear things said to me, I'm usually pretty good at wrapping my head around that, even if it requires me putting myself in their shoes. But I've never had the perspective of being a parent, so I couldn't see through my mom's lens. I can now because I'm a parent going on 13 years, almost 14. And then with my wife, I really couldn't see it until very recently because I just had my head down and I was just trying to figure it out. I was just trying to win. And I was like, babe, can't you see I'm busting my ass every day? But admittedly, there were a lot of times, even though I said I was chasing all of this shit, brother, I would sit down in my room and play PlayStation for 6 hours a day and smoke weed all day. So she's like, cool, you say you're going to be a multimillionaire. I love that. I love that you have vision and you have passion, but how are you going to do that when you're on the game for 6 hours a day and you're smoking a fucking ounce every month? Right? And all I wanted to do was fight with both of them through all of that and say, no, but I got it. I'm different. I'm special. I'm going to figure it out. Right? And it wasn't until I fucking removed myself from myself, right? I was in my fucking way. And they saw that the whole time. I couldn't see that. But also, neither of them could ever tell me that. I was extremely bullheaded and stubborn through that period in my life. It took me meeting somebody like yourself, my brother Joseph, to be like, bro, you're the fucking problem. You are your problem. Get the fuck out of your own way and watch everything go exactly as you've been wanting it to go for the past decade plus. But it's like they could never tell me that because it's like they were too close to me. I was too close to them. There was too much love there. And every time they said it, it felt like a deep insult. It's like it wasn't just a surface wound. It was like they were taking the dagger and sticking it right in my heart every time they said, no, I don't think you can do this. And realistically, they might not have actually said it in that way. It was just, like maybe you should consider plan B. Maybe you should have a plan B. And I'm the type of way I'm like, I'm a fucking plan A or nothing. That's how I know you have to win. I can't entertain plan B because as soon as I do, plan A fails. It's inevitable. It always happens.
What was leading you to smoking so much weed on a daily basis at that point? When you were playing video games all day, you thought you were grinding, but you're literally being a bum on the couch. What do you think led you into that? Or what do you think, like at that moment, right? Where was your head at with that? Like, what was your justification for it?
With hindsight perspective, I was just running away, man. I was running away from all of it. It was all very heavy. I got to be this dad. I got to be this man. I got to be this provider. And I've chosen this path of entrepreneurship. So I also got to fucking build $1 million businesses because, bro, I used to tell everybody when I was doing the music shit, I was like, I'll have $10 million in my bank account by the age 25. And then I would go and spend every dollar that I had on the next sack of weed or snort it up my nose or drink it out the fucking bottle. And people are like, yeah, cool, you say that. How the fuck are you getting there, Jordan? Are you selling drugs? Because if you're not, I really don't see the path, my brother. But at that time, I was so fucking inebriated constantly. I was so emotional and I was so defensive that nobody could tell me shit. The only people I listened to were the other people with me on this fucked up path. And all they did was encourage my poor behaviors. And then vice versa, I would encourage theirs. And it was just a fucking spiral of negativity and inebriation and intoxication. And I fucking smoked every day because as soon as I hit that pipe, as soon as I hit that bong, as soon as I inhaled that fucking joint, I forgot about all of it. I didn't have to think about it. And then I was like, oh, everything's all good, bro. It's all good. Let me turn on the PlayStation and talk with the homies while they're smoking on the other end of the fucking microphone. And it's like all of us are just numbing life together and then fucking playing video games for hours and hours and hours because sitting in sobriety and facing life is hard. It's not easy. It's not where I want to be. I know everybody around me is disappointed. I know I'm letting a lot of people down. And so I'm going to smoke about it. And at a certain point, I was extremely addicted to fucking cigarettes, brother. I smoked my first cigarette when I was 17, and I didn't stop smoking cigarettes until I was like 25, 26, 27 years old. I got up to, I don't know. I just had a lot of dependencies on a lot of substances, a lot of vices, because I'd smoke a cigarette and I'd feel less stressed. I'd smoke the joint and a cigarette and I'd feel doubly less stressed. But then it's just because I didn't have to think about anything. I didn't have to face anything.
Got it. Ross, you got anything?
Looking back at it and what you do now to handle stress, what was the biggest light bulb moment that you kind of realized where you're like, cigarettes actually cause me more stress and anxiety. Weed actually causes me more stress and anxiety. Booze actually causes me health issues, and then I can perform at maybe 40% if I'm lucky the next day with the hangover. And then I'm at a low frequency. Coke, I mean, you know what that does to your brain. It turns you into a fucking psychopath / numb.
Yeah.
So what do you think was your biggest kind of light bulb moment? Obviously, it was more recent, probably than the past couple of years, if not
Last year.
6 months even, right? What was the trigger, or what was the moment of wake up that happened? Was it a moment? Was it a saying you said to yourself? Was it something that someone else said to you? Was it an emotional shift? Like what? Yes, there are a lot of pivotal moments, but like, what went on in your brain? Like what caused the level up inside?
I actually love that question, and it's an interesting answer because it was like a gradual cascade, substance by substance, right? I didn't quit everything at once. The first vice to go was the nicotine and the cigarettes. I think the light bulb moment for that was I watched my kids get older, and my kids kept getting older. And the older they got, I'm like, dude, I want to die from lung cancer at age 47 and leave my kids without a father for the majority of their adult life? No. Also, I was a fucking fiend, bro. I would fucking get into my kids' piggy banks, admittedly, to fucking buy a new pack because I was broke, but I needed to fucking smoke because life was too much, right? So the pivotal point with cigarettes was I don't want to die. I don't want to die early from fucking lung cancer and fucking health complications because I need to be there for my kids and my wife to support her while we raise these children into adulthood. And then I think actually that's probably when parenting gets really hard, is when your kids become adults. And I need to be there for that. So with nicotine, that was it. With cocaine, man, that was a short-lived vice, but it was probably the most intense vice during that short period. I got very close to the supplier, right? So it was basically a free substance for me. I was running the clubs. I could get anybody into any club for free. And as a result, and in exchange, I would get free blow. And I got to a point, and I remember this conversation as well. The pivotal moment was when I called my wife one night. We were not together at the time. We were separated. And I said, yo, I think I'm getting addicted to cocaine. And I'm scared. That's scary because I know if I literally go one more day down this path, I might not ever be able to come back. And I really leaned on her to support me out of that habit. And that required me completely distancing myself from that entire crowd of people, deleting social medias, all of it. I might have even changed my phone number at that time in my life because I have. For me, if it's in my face, I have a really hard time saying no. So I have to get away completely. So shout out to my wife for letting me come to her in that moment and being the rock and the shoulder that I needed to support me getting off of that substance. Alcohol was never really a problem for me, brother. I hate it. I think it's fucking disgusting. Every time I drank a beer, I had to choke down vomit because it's foul. I don't know, man. I was not made to drink alcohol, but I developed an ability to squash down liquor, and but I get sick all the time. So alcohol was never really a dependency or a problem for me. I just ran the clubs, I threw the parties, so I got free booze, and so I would drink while I did the blow, while we smoked the cigarettes and the weed. It was just a cacophony of substances. But the period where a cacophony, spell that. The period where the period where I was doing a lot of blow, I was drinking a lot, and I did some research after getting out of that, and it's because there's actually a chemical reaction that happens in the body when those two substances are combined in the human body that creates a third substance. We'll get a little nerdy and scientific here. It's called cathaline, and that is what people who
Yeah.
Cocaine.
They get addicted to that. It's the combination, and then you add the environment into that, and that is what I was addicted to. It was like the partying environment. So then I got off of that, and then I had one last demon to conquer, and this, I think, through all of the substances that I've ever met, was by far the most difficult for me to overcome, and that was cannabis. And listen, I was so fucking enamored by that substance that I would tell everybody I'm going to be the millionaire, the billionaire who did it while I was high. I was that into it. I'm gonna prove everybody wrong. Potheads can get rich too. And like, listen, are there fucking people who smoke every day out there who are rich? Absolutely. We all know it. There's a myriad of ways to accomplish it. But
dog, come on, man. D-O double G.
I'm saying that's what I'm saying. But most of those people are in industries where you're kind of glorifying that substance. And I was not. I failed in that industry. So I mean, listen, man, Joe challenged me to stop smoking. What was it, the end of 2024? I think we went 6 months. And that was hard as fuck, man. And that was hard. And it's still, the light bulb still didn't go off because I was like, oh, I'm going to go 6 months. And then New Year's Eve, we're going to celebrate. And
now, you said when you come out to Colombia is when we're going to celebrate.
No. That was time number 2. Time number 1 was the back end of 2024. I smoked New Year's Eve of 2025. I was with my family at a hotel.
You're right.
To the face after 6 months, I went into the pool where my mom, my wife, and my kids were swimming, and I was 6 months sober.
The fuck out.
Blasted it, bro, and I was just sitting in that pool like everybody knows. Everybody knows, dude, I'm so high. I was like, I got to get out of here. So I couldn't even hang out with the family. It was just all bad. And then that kind of restarted the cycle, restarted the habit. I went to Mexico with the family and the wife, and then I was smoking there. And then I stopped for a few months. And then I don't even know when it happened, bro, honestly. But then I was just smoking again.
You were good until you weren't. So basically, last year, me and you were both on the same path. We quit weed, and then I did 75 hard. I stopped 75 hard. The day I stopped, I was on the top of a mountain, smoked weed with my fucking boys, and literally proceeded to go home to New Jersey for 2 months because I had to leave to go to New Jersey for, I think, to see my family, and my visa, I didn't have a visa or any of that shit. And I fucking went back to smoking every day. And then you were going good at that time. You were still good. And then fucking after that, I think when I came back from Jersey, I quit again. Didn't go for like a while. And then you went, the next time was the trip when you came to Colombia.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I started smoking again in Mexico in May, and then came home, and I think I stopped. And then, yeah, we hit Colombia, and we were like, I don't know. I think we were like, we're going to smoke one time or whatever. And I smoked more on that trip than I intended. And then I got home from that trip and somehow, again, began to justify smoking again. And, yeah, I don't know, man. And then, but then I wound up on a mountain in Guarne. And we we did a shamanic experience, and I revisited an old enemy, as I used to call it, being psilocybin and mushrooms. I had done mushrooms recreationally a few times growing up. I think the first time I did it was when I was like 17 in high school. I never had a good experience on that substance, but it was because of environment and just life and all of it. But I don't know, man. I really reconnected with myself, with my spirit, with source when we did that experience in Colombia. And then I came home and I think I still kept smoking. But New Year's Eve, the day before New Year's Eve, was the last day that I smoked. I haven't smoked since then. And honestly, man, I don't think we're ever going back. I think that final demon has been defeated and excluded from my life. We talk sometimes, and I'm like, man, when I got 10 million in the bank account, I'll celebrate with a blunt. But it's like, for what, man? For what? To get back into all of that? Nah. Actually, I think I'm really good on that. Not even interested. So I might like to live the rest of my life in sobriety, except for the occasional journey into my spirituality, facilitated through psychedelics.
I feel you with that, my brother. I definitely feel you with that, and I will be on that journey with you, because fuck alcohol, fuck weed. But the only drug I've ever done, and I don't even consider it a drug anymore, the only plant I've ever taken that actually helped me and didn't put me in a worse place after has always been mushrooms. So as long as you're using it and you're not abusing it, right? And you're not, and the thing with mushrooms, at least for me, I can't fucking trip and then go trip next week or next month. Like, I have done a couple trips recently, right? But like, you get to a point where you're just good, and it's not an everyday thing. It's not affecting your. It's weed. I smoke once, and I'm fucking right back in the next day I want to smoke. If I go on a trip and I go deep, I do not want to take mushrooms the next day,
No.
or the next week. Like, we're good.
Isn't there something with psychedelics where, because everything is so vivid and you're on such like a crazy out of body experience, that it just almost overloads your system, where you need time to kind of decompress because it was like too intense?
Dude,
If you go deep enough, yes.
when we were in Carne, I told the shaman, listen, I'm scared of this substance. I'm coming off of these antipsychotic medications that I've been on for the past 5 years. I can't go crazy here. And she's like, oh, don't worry. We'll give you a little bit. Liar. She gave me a lot. She gave us all equal amounts. And like, I was, dude, straight up 6 hours gone. And came back that like, whew, thank God we're back to reality. We went and ate some fucking delicious, probably the best pizza I've ever tasted in my entire life. And yeah, there's no way I could have gone back there. I couldn't. It's too much. I needed literal time to process everything that I experienced and everything that I felt and everything that I went through, everything that I realized. And there was so many things that I wanted to go forth and implement into my life. I needed time for all of that. The idea of like doing that again that following weekend is not only crazy to think about, it's actually a little bit frightening. I mean, it's too much. I don't know that my brain has the capacity to handle all of that so frequently.
Yeah. And every time that you go on a psychedelic trip, it connects neural pathways. So it actually makes you smarter, which is the craziest thing. Like, you smoke weed, you do not get smarter. I'm sorry. I don't care how creative you think it gets you. It literally, you're suppressing your thoughts is what weed does.
Yeah,
So,
you go full retard. You're just like kind of like dumb.
How was I when you saw me in person and I was absolutely stoned, Ross?
It's similar to when I'm high. It's like we just don't we just melt in our chair and we don't really fucking talk much. Like, our personality goes away. You're just kind of like,
I'm just like
100% diminishes everything about you by like 20 to 30%.
it's lame. It's fucking lame.
Yeah.
It's
It is.
fun and funny on occasion, but like, I've never woken up the next day where I'm like, I'm damn proud for getting high yesterday.
Never.
Drinking has resulted into some pretty wild fun scenarios, met some really cool people, created a lot of new friendships, met a lot of lovely ladies. So alcohol, but I was a drinker. Like you're Utah stoner, I was Jersey fucking drinker. We just drink. That's it, just all the fucking time.
That's your Jersey.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I was both.
Grew up in a bar town. What do you want us to do?
You grew up in fucking Morristown, bro. You can't literally. He was bred to fucking go to the bars.
Yeah, and we were good at drinking. Like you were bringing up, like you get sick, and I'm like, you have like 15 shots, no problem. Or just drink liquor, like mixed drinks and shots all night, no problem.
No, boy.
I think I threw up from drinking in my drinking career, which is like 25 years. I think I threw up maybe 5 or 6 times.
That's crazy. I'm probably a 70% solid. I'm getting sick, and I will be vomiting at some point tonight.
No,
Could be later after everybody goes home, and I could hang because I had to be cool, right? Don't be a pussy. Take your shots and fucking don't be weak. But then I'd go home. As soon as I get in the door, fuck, dude, this shit sucks. And then you wake up feeling like shit the next day. And I'm like, this is literally my least favorite substance, actually. I do not like it.
I mean, yeah, there is like, it has been proven with like certain chemicals and how it reacts to like not only your personality style, but your actual just genetics, that some just work for you. Yeah. Like me, like, I don't know, I just fucking love tequila. Like tequila and I.
The one thing I will say though with alcohol, that is the one substance that we are not meant to digest.
No, it ruins all your organs, your brain.
It is so bad for your body, and that's why, like, look, me when I'm drunk, Ross. If you knew the fun Joey, the old Joey that when we do my podcast episode, you guys will get to know a little bit. I was a fucking blast, brother. Like, I'm already the life of the party sober. When I was fucking drunk, bro, it amplified everything. So and then mix other things, which we'll get into on another episode. I was fucking a blast. Mm-hmm. But the next day, destroyed for probably a week. Literally.
Oh, yeah. And you're brain dead. It's like, it's at least 4 days of recovery. You rinse and repeat that. Like, it was like a decade or more that was just deleted. Like, there was so much that could have been done. You would have been in a much different spot than you are now. You look at the youth now, they don't fucking do anything. They don't even fuck. Like, they're just like, I'm sober and I'm asexual. I'm like, imagine what.
And I'm a woman, but I want to be a man. We'll get us canceled here, Joey. My bad, guys.
But yeah, it's just so different. And like these kids, you know, how many millionaires are created every single day? That's gonna like 100x soon with the way they're living their lives. Now, I thought it was fun. I don't really regret it.
I don't regret it, but my bank account does. Because had I had been not the degenerate I was at my younger ages, and I needed to get it out of my system, because I think if I wasn't that then, and I did get the money,
trouble.
I don't want to know what I'd be doing now. Living in fucking Medellin with them. God damn, I would be the worst degenerate. So we all go through everything for a reason, guys. It's all part of the fucking process, and we kind of have to. So let's keep breaking Jordan down for a couple of minutes. And I know Ross got to get out of here soon, and I'm going to have to get out of here as soon as we're going to get the car. But let's talk about the psych shit really quick, because that's one of my favorite parts of Jordan's story that I think personally is going to help a lot of people. And I've dealt with it in my family. That's why when Jordan told me about it and we talked about it, I kind of was like, brother, it's all in your fucking head. But I kind of want to break that down a little bit. So what happened when you went through these psychic manic episodes? And then let's go deep into that really quick before we get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. No, I mean, High level, without getting too personal, because this is also part of my wife's story, and I don't want to, we'll keep it high level enough, but we'll just say we were just toxic. We fought a lot. We had very differing views and differing opinions. And listen, I got it. Nothing ever got physical, right? And that's not who I am. But right with her, but like with myself, I did absolutely. So we'd get into fights. I'd get manic for real. And I mean, dude, one time the cops were called because she was feeling fearful for me and what I was going to do to Jordan. So the cops came to my circle, and brother, I walked out there with two knives in my hand, and I looked down the barrel of a shotgun, and they said, "You better put that shit down, sir." And it was like one of those moments I was like, "Holy shit." It's like I had a moment of clarity in the mania, and I dropped the knives, and I was like, I could get shot to death right now in front of my house. Well, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but it ain't good. So I got arrested, detained, and taken not to jail, brother. Like I've been in a jail cell one time for like 6 hours, and it was at the end of an episode where things got a little physical with my brother. He came over, and I was just being wild, and he fucking subdued me. But then the neighbors didn't like that, so I did go to a jail cell once. But I've been detained 3 times and held against my will, but not in prison or jail, at the fucking hospital in the psych ward on a pink slip. And the crazy thing about a pink slip, bro, is they could have kept me there for 7 years if they wanted to, if they deemed it necessary on that pink slip. It gives them full fucking control over Jordan until a doctor signs me out of that psych ward. And so manic episodes would happen. I would get detained, never arrested and taken to jail, taken directly in the back of an ambulance to the hospital, put in the psych ward with people who were actually fucking insane. Like, bro, some of the people I met up in there, man, wild, crazy experience. And what I became the most afraid of was not jail. It was the psych ward. I don't ever want to fucking go back and be locked in a hospital, because in there they get to shove down as many fucking pills and medications into my body as they see necessary. And if I do not comply, I will not leave. Right. So it's like, you have to take this, you have to swallow this, you have to let us inject this into your body. Or yeah, I'm gonna keep you here for 6 more months, Jordan. What do you want to do? Well, doc, I'll take the pills. Fuck. I'm not going to be here for 6 months. I was also addicted to cigarettes at a lot of those times, and I couldn't even smoke. Couldn't leave the fucking floor that I was locked into. It was awful, bro. So mania is an interesting place to be. It's just completely out of control. My emotions overcame my ability to control my actions. And yeah, man, landed me in the hospital a couple of times, landed me with some serious diagnoses, landed me on some serious medications. I mean, still to this day, we're working on this, but I still got to sign a form and have my doctor sign a form every fucking year to say that I'm not too crazy to drive my vehicle, right? Like, my mental health deteriorated so much that I wound up in that serious situation that has plagued me for years and years and years. But the crazy thing is, until I met you, brother, nobody told me, like, nah, it probably is just mental. I don't think you're fucking bipolar. And I'm like, yeah, you're not a doctor though, right? But then we met a person who knows a lot about health and mental health. And he assessed me and he says, no, you're not bipolar, son. You're not crazy at all. You were just a young man going through turmoil, and you didn't know how to process it, and you didn't know how to handle it. And nobody around you had the tools that were necessary to help you get through it. So therefore, you ended up in the hospital and you ended up on medication that you didn't need. However, it did help at the time. And I do think I subscribed that I needed that at that time, for sure. Long term, definitely not. But I was just so fucking wrecked mentally. My mental health was so terrible. My self-image was so bad that I needed medication to calm down my nervous system for long enough for me to like see the light and get back in touch with like who I was as a kid before all of the fucking craziness and all the fucking emotions and all of the expectations overwhelmed me.
Would you say that I know you're saying like you know me, I'm a huge believer everything happens for a reason, right? So obviously you were meant to go through the meds, you're meant to go through that time period, everything else. But obviously we don't have to go too personal on the wife's side, right? But like in those moments, were you sober when you went through those manic episodes? Were you fucked up? Where were you at?
You know, it's crazy. That's a wild question. That's a good question. I was not. Every time I went into full blown mania, I was drunk. And I've just spent the last hour telling you how much I fucking hate alcohol. It was this weird mechanism where my emotions would get so fucking high. I would be so upset, so angry, so lost in the fucking grief. Then I would find a bottle of liquor and I would pound it. And then I'm fucked up. So not only are my emotions unregulated and out of control, now I'm completely intoxicated and inebriated and just fucking drunk. And so I'm not thinking, not even clearly, I'm not thinking at all. There's no rational thoughts going through my brain in those moments. This is another reason I really, really, really fucking hate alcohol, is because I don't think it matters who you are. If you drink too much and your emotions are too high, things will happen that you would never do in a sober mindset. I'm not a fucking suicidal person. I fucking love life, bro. I love everything about it, even when it's fucking hard, dude. Straight up, I do. But in those moments, because I drank, it's like I purposefully drank enough. This is valid. These thoughts happen. I would drink so much to be able to justify the idea of like maybe I just want to die. I had to drink a lot in order to get into that mindset. And then once I got there, it was like, yeah, okay, now we're here, but now I'm just drunk. It's the alcohol talking. But so no, I was never sober in mania. And I was always high also throughout all that. I just smoked every day. So the cannabis also played a part in that. You mix the cannabis with the alcohol, with the insane unregulated emotions, and you find yourself in the fucking hospital on a pink slip.
Was there blow in the mix too in those episodes?
No. No, blow was strictly a party substance for me, and I never did anything crazy on that. It's weird actually. Most people get all hyped up and wild on that. Um, it mellows me out for whatever reason. I do not get hyped up. I sit down and chill and smoke and talk a lot. And I'm a fucking yapper, and I extra yap when I'm there. But no, Blow never exacerbated any of the manic episodes that I experienced.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, dude. I mean, I think obviously I psychoanalyzed you when me and you as a boys had this conversation. And my biggest thing is like in those moments you would get angry, your anger would get pushed, and then from it getting pushed, you would get more angry. And then you would get destructive and you would drink and you would drink and you're already angry drinking. So it's like there's no positive recipe there. Maybe you were drinking because you're thinking that's going to calm your anger, right? That was your vice in that moment. But you just kept drinking. And it's like, and then you go crazy. And then when you get to that point where you go fucking crazy, like, no shit, you're going to get into a manic place, right? Like, I think any human being that's listening to this, if you got angry or you already were in a fight with someone, for example, and you just keep getting pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. And then I think if we go deeper into you as a person, like you wanted the household to stay together, to be a father for your kids. I know that's one gigantic thing for you. So that makes you go even fucking crazier, right? And now you're getting pushed and now you're mixing alcohol into the mix. Like, no shit, you got manic. But that doesn't mean that you are a fucking bipolar person, right? Because what bipolar disorder is you go into manic highs and manic lows, and like that lasts. Like it's not like I got into a fight, and because I got into that fight, I got angry, and then because I got angry, I got angrier, and because I kept getting pushed, I got even more angry, and I went fucking crazy. It's like, brother, there's been times where I wanted to put my head through a fucking wall with certain fights that I've been in, right? And in those moments, you would think I'm fucking bipolar with what the doctors would say. But if you were bipolar when you got off the medicine last year, you would have gone fucking crazy already. Are you crazy? Fuck yeah, you're crazy. I think we're all fucking crazy. But you're not crazy different than anyone else in this world. You're just a visionary and you have really big aspirations. And I think that's where you can get misconstrued as crazy. And then fucking, yes, you're passionate. So when you get angry, I think this is the issue with the mental health field, in my opinion, is like when you get that angry, like that's a human emotion. Like they basically say that when you feel emotions, you're not allowed to feel that shit. And that's the fucking problem right there. Like
Yeah.
that is the biggest part of the problem. So yeah, bro. I think for anybody that's gonna listen back to this in the replays, anything like that, I think you guys just gotta understand that when you get put on like all these Xanax, mental health fucking things, it's just numbing the pain, but it's not fixing anything. It's the same thing with when me and Jordan went through smoking weed. Like, we used to smoke every single day and we would think that it was going to numb the fucking pain, but it didn't numb shit. I mean, or it did numb shit in the moment, right? You are fucking emotionless for a little bit, but nothing gets solved, which means the problem still exists. And if the problem still exists, you're forever their client. So it's like, I think that was where, I know you're saying, Jordan, that like, yes, in the moment, yeah, you should have done it because it calmed you down and blah, 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 blah. But like, obviously, I think you should have gone through what you went through. That's what put you here. That's what brought us together. That's what put you, like, you were meant to go through it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have gone through it. But I don't agree in the terms of like, no, some people need it because that is going to calm them down. No, I think if you're going through some shit, you need to deal with it head on. And when you deal with it head on, that's what's going to make the difference with you getting to a better place. If you don't deal with it, you will always have that problem. And that's the thing with trauma, because if you guys listen back to Jordan's story, there's a lot of trauma in there, right? There was fucking, you grew up without a father. That's trauma right there. You were only black dude in an all white environment. I'm sure there had to be trauma there. I'm sure there was bullying there. I'm sure there was a lot of it there. You fucking were never allowed to fight or never allowed to protect yourself. So the way you had to do it was with your words, which I kind of agree with. I'm a pacifist. I mean, I used to fuck people up back in the day, but you know, whatever. Didn't ever win anything. The verbal is what always wins everything. So don't think that fighting is the answer ever. But you look at the entire timeline, right, and all the story, and then you had a kid when you were 19. That had to be fucking traumatic in its own way, even though it was one of the most beautiful things that happened. There's still trauma there, brother. And you're 19 years old. You like that was not expected. So then you go into entrepreneurship and fucking you suck. You are a degenerate at the time. You're fucking taking drugs every single day. You're not the you want to be. Then you have everyone in your life doubting you. It's like, I mean, you take that whole thing, it's a recipe for an explosion. And then the explosion happens. And now instead of us, like society being like, no, this is normal, right? Like you should fucking react like this. Like, let's look back for a second and realize why the fuck is this happening. You get to the point where it's like, no, brother, like you were meant to explode in that moment, dude. You had so much shit bottling up. You're a father. You're trying to keep the family together. You're trying to get the business going. You have so much other shit happening in your life at this point, and no one's taught you how to deal with it. So the way that you dealt with it was you would take drugs, you would fucking get drunk, you would get blow, you'd go party, whatever it was, and then no shit, you fucking exploded. And I think you got to give yourself grace for it in understanding that, like, it's okay that you went through all of that shit. You were meant to go through all that shit. Yet again, the depth of your struggle will lead to the height of your success. So, like, that's why you're soaring so high now. But fucking, it's perfectly okay to react negatively or really badly when you never were taught how to react anyways. Like, that doesn't mean that you have a mental disorder and something's fucked up with Jordan. Like, we're all just fucking human, and humans are meant to deal with emotions and experience different types of emotions and go through all of it. So for the mental health space, that's why I don't agree with any of the fucking pills or any of it, unless maybe there's people that are bipolar. I haven't done deep research into this shit, right? But from what I know, with a lot of the people that I know that have the mental health issues, it's called unsolved trauma. That's what you had. And you're still working on it now. Me and you fucking go over this shit every single day. But that's why I had to solve a lot of my trauma to be able to help you. And now you've solved a lot of your trauma where you're able to help other people. And I see you doing it every single day. And I think that's kind of the biggest pivot was fucking 6 months ago for you in your life. I mean, literally, you are not the same person you were 6 months ago.
That person
at
died.
all.
He's
That
dead.
person, he died, bro. And it's like you shed all of it, and now you're at a point in your life where you're fucking just completely. You are literally a different person than the person I met. And then to go deep into the wife not believing in you, to go deep into your mom not believing in you. Like, me and you talk about this all the time, but it's not their fault because, bro, they knew you when you were a piece of shit. They knew you when your mom knew you when you were fucking born. So, like, she's known every single fucking version you possibly could ever be. Your wife knew you since you guys were in what, high school?
Yeah, since I think I was 17 or 18.
So it's like, it's not her fault that she's still coming around to understanding where Jordan's going through the process because, brother, you were smoking weed playing video games a month ago. You know what I mean? Like, there still are levels that you're going to have to climb now through this journey, but that's not a bad thing. Like, that's the point of life. That's the beauty of this fucking journey is like every single day you're getting a little bit better. And by you having this fucking growth, it is literally getting you to be the leader that you're meant to be, the father that you were meant to be, the husband that you were meant to be, the friend that you were meant to be. And now it's coming out in many different ways. So there's going to be, it's like interest rates, brother. There's fucking lag times in life. Like, the only reason that my wife believes in me is because when I met her, I was already in a very high version of myself. And even today, I'm a different version of who I was when she met me 2 years ago, right? So it's like, and even still, we have conversations where she has to come around to believe in everything I'm doing. But all I got to say to you, brother, is I'm super proud of where the fuck you've gone, where you've came. Because the person I met 2 years ago, when we first met, or 3 years ago by now, I don't even fucking remember. You know, I'm bad with time. But that person was nowhere near the man you are today. And there's no way that I could have been with that person on a podcast, fucking talking about this shit, diving into this stuff, doing business together, fucking scaling businesses side by side. Like, there's no way. There's no way. But now you've come to the point where there is a fucking way, and it's fucking dope.
Yeah, brother. I appreciate it, and yeah, you've been extremely helpful to me, and I'm just so grateful for you. I tell you, probably not enough though, but I thank God for giving me a friend that quickly turned into a brother that I have just needed for a long time, who could just look me in the face and tell me the truth. And listen, man, I know I've been through a lot of trauma, a lot of bullshit, a lot of grief, all of it. But now that I have this perspective, I know why I had to go through all of that. And it is because now I am a warrior for God, the universe, whatever you believe in. I hold the sword every day and I'm going forth into battle to share my light and help as many people who can relate to my struggles as I possibly can. And I pray every morning in my meditation and I ask God, I've got your sword. I am your warrior and I'm going to go do it. All I ask from you is please wrap me with your armor so that when I get attacked, I do not falter and I can continue marching forth, because there's going to be a lot of boys, young men, teenagers, whatever, who are growing up without a dad right now. And it's crazy. This is something I got to shout out my little brother for this for a second, as he realized this before I did. He got to this realization earlier than me. And I mean, we had different dads. His dad also was non-existent, not in the picture. And he realized, and what I've realized now is there's going to be a lot of young people who I can help get through that. And in the terms of mental health and being a young parent, there's going to be millions of people who go through that shit. And I am now equipped to help them if I can. If they want to listen to me and hear my story, I don't have all the fucking answers, man, and I will never claim to. I'm so far from perfect. I just couldn't even express it adequately. But I know now that my job and my purpose on this planet, in this life, is to go and help as many people who are experiencing what I went through as I can. Because that's what life is all about, bro. We got to get through our struggles and we got to turn around and we got to extend a hand to everybody else who's willing to take it, who we can help through that shit. Because maybe I could cut somebody's timeline into half of what mine was to get through all of it. And if I can do that to even one person in life on the planet, I succeeded at my purpose here. So I don't regret any of it. I am grateful for all of it. It was hard, so hard at times. I felt like I should probably just not be here anymore. But I'm glad I fought through it. I'm glad I met who I needed to along the way. I'm grateful for my mom. I'm grateful for my wife. I'm grateful for everybody who's stuck here through the bullshit. And because now I think I'm at a place where, I mean, brother, we're not even close to the end destination, but I think I feel confident that I'm out of the shit. And now I can start to truly build from a new foundation, and I can go and help as many people as possible. And that's just what I'm going to do every day for the rest of my life, my brother.
100%. 100%. And I think that's why God put us through all these fucking battles, brother. I always am a firm believer in God doesn't give you a battle you can't handle. So that's why you've gone through it. That's why I've gone through it. On the next episode, we're going to be doing Ross. And then on the third one, we're going to be doing me. So you guys will hear a lot more about our lives as well. But yeah, bro, it's just dope seeing the journey, and me and you share the same purpose. And I think that's why fucking me and you can align so well. It's just, we know what we're here for. We know what we're meant to do. And every fucking day that we can work towards that and do it, it's just going to be a more fucking beautiful thing. And then what's going to follow from it is it's just the utility of it. Life would be boring if all we did was just make money and that was it. Like, super fucking boring. But even just helping you, brother, seeing the fucking growth with you. I mean, we talk about this shit all the time, but just seeing it and being a part of it and being able to fucking like dive into this and then getting you off those fucking meds, and now you're not numb to anything anymore. And now you can fucking actually live your life. That shit's fucking huge for me. Cause like that shit, I just love seeing it, brother. Now you literally probably are one of my closest fucking boys there is on this earth right now. And that's why we're able to fucking do what we're doing. We're fucking in alignment. So everyone fucking listen to this. First of all, Jordan, thank you for going deep. Because it does take a lot to go into this stuff. I mean, guys, he literally is going through it every single day. You guys see the happy craziness we are up here on the lives. But I wanted to go deep into all of our lives right now so you guys could really understand who we are, what makes us function the way we do, and then hopefully see how we can help you guys if you need it. You know, let us be there for you guys too, because fucking that's part of our mission now is to help as many people in the wholesaling space, in the entrepreneur space, and just in life that we physically can. So obviously, we got someone was in the comments said we have one viewer. What's good? Cool. We're here to help as many people as we can, guys. That's why we're up here. So, Jordan, I gotta go buy a car, brother. It's time.
Yeah, go do it, Papa. I appreciate you. I think this was a great idea. And listen, it was a little uncomfortable, and that was probably as vulnerable as I've ever been publicly on the internet, online, anywhere. And so I appreciate the opportunity to do it. I appreciate the questions. I feel better, and hope it helps even one person. Because at the end of the day, that's it, man. If we could just be of service to anybody, then I will feel fulfilled as a human. So I appreciate you more than you know, my brother, and I'm excited to get into all of this with Ross and with you, my man.
Let's get it, my brother. I appreciate you sharing today. And we will see you guys on the next week's episode. Stay tuned. We'll announce when it's coming out. And if you guys want to see the replay, we'll be posting it on our socials, on our YouTube channel. So stay tuned for that, guys. But make sure you guys get the fuck out of your comfort zone. You keep grinding, you keep your head down, and you heal your fucking trauma. Because if you don't go into it, you're going to end up on psych meds maybe one day. And we want to make sure that doesn't happen to y'all. So make sure you guys live your life to the fullest.
Yes, sir. Well, my brother, much love to you. Much love to everybody out there. Go forth and conquer.
Let's get it, guys. Let's get it. Peace the fuck out, y'all.